First Friday. No. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another First Friday event brought to you by Michigan Rehabilitation Services, Southeast Division, Oakland District. Today, our presentation is Independence and Self-Advocacy for Employed Individuals with Developmental Disabilities. Before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items that we need to address. First, you can ask questions throughout the event in the Q&A section on your Zoom interface. Time is reserved at the end of the event to answer questions. Closed captioning is available by selecting the closed caption button and then show subtitle. If you have any technical difficulties throughout the presentation, please contact Zoom for technical assistance via the Zoom Help Center. We will also be pinning the ASL interpreters to make them easily visible for those who are needing ASL interpretation today. In case you're unfamiliar with Michigan Rehabilitation Services, we are a state agency whose mission is to develop customized workforce solutions for businesses and individuals with disabilities. And our vision is that our efforts will lead to a diverse and inclusive workforce that unites businesses and individuals with disabilities toward a common good. Your presenters for today will be Christy Kay from the ARC of Oakland County and me, Vanessa Haviland from Michigan Rehabilitation Services Pontiac office. In this slide, we have a photo of the state capitol building. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to Christy.
Thank you, Vanessa. Good morning. My name is Christy Kay. I am from the ARC of Oakland County. So if you're unfamiliar with the ARC, we are a part of the ARC Michigan as well as a chapter of the National ARC. So the ARC in general is the largest national community-based organization that advocates for and with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We serve them and their families. In order to find a chapter near you, you can go to www.thearc.org and select Find a Chapter at the top of the web page. So on the screen here, you'll see the contact information for the ARC of Oakland County located in Troy. That is the chapter that I work for. There are chapters of the ARC located all over Michigan. So if you are tuning in from outside of Oakland County, you can definitely find the chapter closest to you by going to that web site.
Thanks, Christy. And as we continue to get settled in, I'd like to share a fun fact with you. Did you know that March is National Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month? In 1987, President Reagan recognized March as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month to increase public awareness of the needs and the potential of Americans with developmental disabilities, and to provide the encouragement and opportunities they need to lead productive lives and to achieve their full potential.
All right, so let's further define developmental disability. So according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, developmental disabilities are defined as a group of conditions due to an impairment in physical, learning, language, or behavior areas. These conditions tend to begin during the developmental period, may impact day-to-day functioning, and usually last throughout the person's lifetime.
Now that we have defined what a developmental disability is, let's look at today's objectives for our presentation. Our presentation will be in two parts today, and our goal is to help audience members to understand why independence and self-advocacy is important for individuals seeking to obtain, maintain, and advance in employment, to identify how these skills can be developed, providing resources to assist with independence and self-advocacy goals, and to draw connections between independence with activities of daily living and essential job functions. Part 1, Understanding Independence and Self-Advocacy. To understand why independence and self-advocacy is important for individuals to obtain, maintain, and advance in employment, we need to know what these terms mean. The dictionary definitions of these terms are as follows. Independence. It is the freedom from the control, influence, support, aid, or the like of others. And self-advocacy, the action of representing oneself or one's views or interests.
All right, thank you for that definition of self-advocacy, Vanessa. So we're going to delve a little bit further into self-advocacy. So self-advocacy involves a person understanding themselves, their needs, as well as their rights. So some self-advocacy skills may include self-awareness, communication, resource navigation, and forming relationships. So we'll chat a little bit more about those 4 categories. So self-awareness involves knowing your skills, abilities, and limitations in order to successfully identify employment that may be suitable for you. Communication is important in a work setting because it allows you to let others know what employment-related gifts or skills you possess, what skills you may be hoping to learn or develop in the workplace setting, as well as letting others know when a problem might arise. So communication is especially important if you are encountering an issue in the workplace, because without the ability to communicate what that issue is, there won't be a solution found for that, right? So being able to communicate with coworkers or supervisors in a job setting is really important in order to be successful. Resource navigation involves knowing what resources may be available to you in that job setting, and that's really important when it comes to self-advocacy. So resources are tools that will allow you to be successful in that job setting. And some examples of resources as it relates to work are employee handbooks or employer policies, job coaches, supervisors. So you don't necessarily need to know what all of the resources are that are available to you, but you need to know where to go if you're having trouble and you need to figure out what resources might benefit you, right? So starting with a supervisor or an HR department, human resources is a really great place to start when you're needing additional resources to help you be successful in a job. Individuals that also have access to a support coordinator through community mental health services can also seek assistance from that support coordinator when a resource is needed. So forming relationships in the workplace will allow you to become familiar with coworkers and know who to go to when a question or an issue arises or when you may need help. All right, so self-advocacy and employment. So we're going to chat more about how those 2 things can be related. So self-advocacy in the workplace enables the person to successfully fill that role or position. It allows them to have job satisfaction, and it also allows them an opportunity for relationship building. So self-advocacy is a skill that is necessary in order to be successful in the workplace. Through self-advocacy, one will be able to communicate their skills and support needs, ask questions relevant to their role, seek understanding or assistance when work-related issues arise, and integrate successfully into that employment setting. So self-advocacy is an ongoing skill. It's not necessarily going to be something that you're only using at the beginning of a job. It's really something that people implement all the time, every day, without maybe even putting that label on it, right? So through self-advocacy, one will be able to describe their skills and interests as well as support needs in order to identify employment that they can be successful in and also enjoy. So self-advocacy means understanding one's skill set and knowing when a task may be outside of that person's current skill set, and then asking for the right supports to be able to fulfill that new role or task. So this could be done with traditional training or accommodations in order to be successful. And then going back to that relationship development, that's really important when it comes to a workplace setting. So developing relationships with your supervisor or coworkers is a really important part of self-advocacy, and it will allow those you work with to become familiar with you in order to be able to better support you. So developing rapport with coworkers is what will allow sort of that foundation of problem solving in the workplace setting. So next we're going to cover the employment type. So we're going to talk about traditional employment as well as supported employment. So for traditional employment, this is employment that is done independently with or without accommodations. So the person performs their essential role and tasks and works through job-related problems. They may consult with natural supports when issues arise in order to seek advice on how to navigate that issue. So natural supports could be a trusted coworker, a supervisor, or a union member, just for examples. Workplace accommodations could include assistive technology, so that could be a screen reader, ergonomic modifications, which could be a sit-to-stand desk, or written job aids, similar to a checklist, or short-term job coaching. So when we think about supported employment, what we're talking about there is employment that is done with the support of a job coach. So job coaches may provide support for the duration of an individual's day or shift in order to assist the individual in moving from one task to the next and ensuring that that work is being done to the employer's standards. Job coaching may also be provided on an ongoing or intermittent basis, depending on the person's needs. Job coaches may not complete tasks for the employee beyond providing a short demonstration. So it's important to sort of recognize the limitations that may be present for a job coach in a job-related setting.
Thanks, Christy. Okay, so as we move into our second part here, I want you to keep in mind that the Americans with Disabilities Act as amended requires that an employee be able to perform the essential functions of their job with or without an accommodation. And essential functions can be both hard tasks, which means actual skills, like knowing how to operate a machine, or knowing how to mix ingredients and put your dough or your cake batter in the oven, right? But it also takes soft skills, such as being able to communicate with others, to make small talk, to follow instructions, and to accept feedback. Accommodations and modifications that were provided in a school setting or skill building program may not apply in a work setting. In school, extended time may have been provided for students to accomplish all of their assignments. At work, typically a deadline is provided, and all the work must be accomplished in that time frame. Some companies have production rates that need to be achieved for them to make a profit. Therefore, allowing an employee to make 50% less parts than another and earn the same is not considered a reasonable accommodation. Another frequent school accommodation is reduced choices on tests or quizzes. In the workplace, when an employer is requiring an employee to take a competency exam to maintain or advance in employment, the assessment is not modified to reduce choices, as it is a standardized tool for assessing specific qualifications and would be considered providing an unfair advantage. However, if a person experiences vision loss, the same test may be provided in large font or administered verbally to accommodate, as it is not a person's ability to see that is being measured, but rather their knowledge of the content. So for our third point here, job coaches cannot perform the work that the employee is hired to do beyond a short demonstration. So job coaches typically are not employees of the company where an individual works. Therefore, if a job coach was performing parts of a job beyond a short demonstration, it could be a Department of Labor issue, as the job coach is performing unpaid work or labor for a company, For instance, if I fell under the supported employment category that Christy just talked about and had a job coach who met me at my work site each day, and one of the essential functions of my job was to vacuum a lobby each shift, but I didn't want to do it or I couldn't do it, so the job coach always did it for me, that would not be allowable. If my job coach encouraged me to vacuum the lobby and pointed out the areas that I missed so that I could do a good and thorough job, that would be allowable. And the fourth point we'd like to make here is that many jobs have tasks that can be related to activities of daily living, such as cleaning, doing laundry, grocery shopping, cooking meals, counting money, and driving. So at this time, before we move into the second portion of our presentation, I'd like for you to take a minute and think about the individual that you're here today to learn more about, right? How can I support the individual that I care about to enter into the world of work? Or maybe you're the person who's wanting to enter into the world of work and you want to see what jobs you might be good at. So I want you to think about what activities in your daily life that you're good at, that you can do independently. If you want to, take a minute and write those down. And at this time, we're going to go ahead and transition into our second portion of our presentation. Part 2, drawing connections between independents and ADLs and the world of work. Some people will want to work part-time and others may want to work full-time. So we're going to look at both types of entry-level employment opportunities. And without further delay, let's review some job descriptions found on Indeed.com that are highly related to these activities of daily living. Okay, the first job category we'll be exploring is cleaning. How many of you know how to clean a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom? Can you vacuum, mop floors, clean mirrors or windows, take trash out, put toilet paper back on the roll? If you said yes, then your skills may be put to good use. Here are 2 postings found on Indeed.com relating to cleaning. The first is a home cleaner or housekeeper, and the second is a commercial building cleaner. Cleaning is very important because it helps the public stay healthy. When we compare these job descriptions, one seems to be focused on soft skills and the other a combination of hard skills and soft skills. So for those of you who may have difficulty reading the smaller font, on the left, we have a job description for Speedy Cleans, and they're requesting that you have reliable transportation, a smartphone with data, cleaning experience, ability to drive up to 45 minutes from home. The other position that we have is Augie's Building Services. And for this position, they're wanting their employees to clean and supply designated building services or building areas. So it would be dusting, sweeping, vacuuming, mopping, cleaning ceiling vents, restroom cleaning, and sanitizing. Being able to report to the supervisor any issues, cooperate with the rest of the staff. So again, that's a combination of both hard skills and soft skills that are listed right in the job description. If you're on the job and having difficulty effectively communicating with others, being on time for work, or arranging transportation, some things you may want to consider is having someone help you with a schedule to get ready for work, helping you to understand all your transportation options, such as using public transit, like the bus, or using Uber, Lyft, ride shares, asking family or neighbors to help out, having someone help you send emails or write a letter to your boss stating you're having trouble understanding and asking help with alternative methods of communication is another option. All right, so here's two more job descriptions. One is cleaning of commercial buildings and the other is cleaning parts. These two cleaning jobs are related, but very different. The parts cleaning job position is located at one location, so a driver's license is not necessary, and they are likely cleaning similar parts many times a day. For the commercial building, it looks as though it has a variety of tasks, and those tasks might vary from day to day. You may travel between locations during the shift or have to report to different cleaning sites on various days of the week. For individuals who like routine, don't want to interact frequently with others, and want to have a smaller area of focus, the parts cleaner job might be more appealing than the commercial cleaning. In both positions, knowing which chemicals are used and ensuring items are thoroughly cleaned are equally as important. Having a list with photos of the cleaners and what they're used to clean may be a helpful accommodation so that you can rely on your list instead of frequently asking others, which would allow you to become more independent. Okay, so who likes to do laundry? If that someone is you, then know your ability to clean clothes and sheets is sought after. So this slide here is a little busy, but that's because we have 3 different job postings, and each are related to laundry, but they're very different. So it's important to know your skills and your limits. The first posting is for a general garment sorter at Cintas. The primary job demands include being able to stand, work next to others, work in a fast-paced environment, and sort items in order or pattern according to their rules. The second is a laundry attendant at a hotel. And the last one is a laundry aide at a nursing facility. The last 2 job descriptions focus on gathering soiled linens, cleaning them, and restocking supplies. Communication and tracking of items is needed. The ability to navigate the hotel and nursing facility to respond to calls regarding specific rooms or floors of the building would be needed. Whereas with the garment sorter, an individual would be assigned to a specific workstation. Accommodations might include extending training or short-term job coaching to help someone find their way around the building and to help document inventory. Think back to when you transitioned from middle school to high school. You may have had a friend or a sibling that helped you find your classes or looked at a map to figure out where you were going. Similar tools could help you on the job to find your way around. If you have difficulty reading documents to complete or to understand instructions, you might want to use a text-to-speech scanning app on your phone, if such phone use is approved by your employer as an accommodation. Moving on to grocery shopping. I'm not sure that anyone could have predicted 5 years ago how many people could turn grocery shopping for others into a way to make money. But here we are today talking about opportunities to be paid to shop. So, anyone heard of Kroger Click List? I'm sure you have. And here's the job posting for individuals who are shopping for the items you selected on your click list. And if you're an in-store personal shopper, you would not need a driver's license. However, if you're looking to work for Shipt, where you would be shopping for someone and delivering items to a person's home, you would need a driver's license. So if you look at the Kroger position, they are looking for someone who loves to be busy and moving all the time. They want somebody who has the ability to meet deadlines, because I know that if I want to pick up my groceries at 5 o'clock, that at 5 o'clock when I pull in the parking lot, and I call and say, I'm here to pick up my groceries, I like the Kroger employee to be able to come out to my car within a few minutes. So having excellent customer service skills, right? Being able to greet customers, being able to shop for the customer orders in a timely manner while paying attention to detail. You know, there's lots of options for tomato soup, or there might be many stacks of cans of Campbell's soup, and knowing which one is tomato and making sure that you're selecting the correct tomato soup, right? If somebody doesn't want low sodium, then you don't want to grab the low sodium tomato soup can. So being able to maintain a clean and sanitary work area, etc. Now, part of shopping requires you to, locate an item on the shelf and be able to scan the barcode. If you are the e-commerce personal shopper. And if you look at the position for Amazon, that too requires some of the same skills to be able to use scanners to read barcodes on products. So who would have known that the two jobs could potentially be related? Okay, now we're going to go on to our next category here of cooking. So from groceries to cooking, we're keeping with our theme of working with food. So I don't know about you, but I love to cook. However, cooking at home is not the same as cooking in a restaurant. Just like washing dishes at home is not the same as washing dishes at a restaurant. Sometimes people want to work around food instead of preparing it. The role of a dietary aide or tray passer allows people to use a checklist and ensure that items ordered are on a tray, which is then delivered directly to a person. Sometimes they will plate the food or wash dishes after delivering the trays. For those who want to work in a kitchen and cook food, there are many options to consider. Some options to consider may be pizza maker, making hot and ready pizzas, folding boxes, cutting pizzas, or maybe working at a salad station as a salad station attendant, making salads as people order them. What kind of salads? Well, Caesar salad, garden salad, Greek, taco, who knows? Some people may want to be a fry cook, focusing on fries or chicken wings, even cheese sticks. Both the dietary aide and cook can be stressful when customers do not get what they ordered, or during a meal rush when many meals are being served while they are still hot and fresh. Being able to calmly communicate with upset customers or explain a mistake to a manager is an extension of being able to advocate for yourself. On a side note, it's good to know that many restaurant jobs already have universal accommodations built into their everyday training, such as photos of what the food should look like, along with the list of ingredients next to the photo. This promotes an individual's ability to be independent and get the item correct, keeping the patron or the patient very happy. Okay, so we've only got 2 more job categories left. So we're going to review how being independent with counting money relates to work. So being able to count money, make change, and keep a ledger of expenditures and deposits are skills that are still needed despite having transitioned from checkbooks and cash to debit cards and cryptocurrency. Being able to develop money management skills is not only useful to avoid unwanted debt and bankruptcy, but they can be used to secure employment. Although each of these postings is for a part-time position, part-time jobs can lead into full-time opportunities and should not be overlooked. Most cash registers will function like a calculator telling a person the amount of money owed back to the customer. Some registers even automatically dispense the coins owed back, and the cashier provides the bills. Customer service and being able to communicate effectively with others is just as much a part of these 3 jobs as counting money. And the 3 jobs here on the screen are part-time cashier and front-end team at Menards. The second one is a cashier at a hospitality group. And the third is a part-time bank teller at PNC. Okay, so we have reached our last activity of daily living related occupation that we're covering today, which is driving. And driving is a skill that may come easy to some or can be developed over time by others. Being able to drive can be critical for people to be able to participate in work, especially in areas where public transportation is not accessible or is limited. If someone has a valid driver's license and enjoys driving, the job postings here could be a good fit. For the auto enthusiast, we have a lot attendant porter at a dealership. There is also the car detailer at Enterprise Holdings, which is a car rental company. If you're looking for a company that has internal promotional opportunities, this might be an option for you, as Enterprise Holdings tends to have paid manager training programs. If you are more interested in having driving as a primary function, but don't want to work using your own vehicle, like with DoorDash or Uber, working as a delivery driver for Amazon, FedEx, and the like might be a better fit. In order to secure and maintain employment as a driver, having a good driving record is imperative. Also important is the ability to follow checklists, using a GPS, and understanding verbal instructions for this type of work. Having the ability to ask for clarifications of instructions or directions is imperative to ensure that you're doing a good job and arriving to the correct destination.
All right, thank you, Vanessa. So now that we've had some time to identify jobs that directly relate to activities of daily living, let's take a moment to consider how independent you or a loved one are with those activities. So would you need to work side by side to get the job done, or could there be less supervision? Can the task get done without any prompting? Is there a safety concern? If there is, would it be reported to the right person? So this slide has some tips for developing independence and self-advocacy skills in the workplace setting. So our tips are to set goals at home, set goals with a therapist, track your progress, ask for help if you are having trouble making progress. And remember, no one is expected to do everything on their own. If you have an open community mental health case, reaching out to your support coordinator is very important. If you have an open MRS case, participating in the services being offered, such as job readiness, soft skills development, and on-the-job work experience. And if you think you might benefit from skill building programs or supported employment, explore the services your local community mental health agency may be able to provide. So the point is that many of us strive for independence, but no one is born with the ability to be independent. So as we get older, parents usually start by assigning us chores and teaching us to prepare food for ourselves as a way to help us become independent. So maybe even starting a savings account to help us understand the importance of saving money and paying bills. The intention is to help us prepare to care for ourselves when they are not around. So another thing that happens is that parents usually start to give us more and more freedom to make our own choices, right? And learn from the consequences and rewards of our actions. Some of us may have had difficulty learning life lessons, but have people and agencies to support us. So people like parents, teachers, family, coaches, therapists, or agencies such as schools, advocacy agencies like the ARC, Centers for Independent Living, and community mental health. So if you are concerned about you or your loved one's safety in the workplace or ability to perform jobs independently, there are skill building programs available whose entire purpose is to help build skills for independence. So to find out more about these programs, you can contact the Centers for Independent Living, your local community mental health agency, or your local ARC chapter. So if you or your loved one is concerned about asking for accommodations, asking for time off, disclosing the monthly earnings that need to be kept under a certain amount to maintain good standing with the Social Security Administration, speaking up against discriminating actions of others, or simply stating your own wants or needs instead of telling you what they are, there are agencies to contact, such as Michigan Rehabilitative Services, Bureau of Services for Blind Persons, or the Job Accommodation Network. So these are some additional resources for developing independence and self-advocacy skills. So you could contact the Job Accommodation Network at askjan.org, the Disability Network at dnmichigan.org, Disability Rights Michigan at drmich.org, Michigan Statewide Independent Living Council, and that is their web address there, or the ARC Michigan at thearcmi.org, or you can contact the ARC of Oakland County as well if you're an Oakland County resident. So now is the time that Vanessa and I can take any questions about the presentation, self-advocacy skills, or job-related skills training. So you can type your question into that Q&A box, and then we will be able to provide answers for the group. Or if for some reason you have a question that you're not comfortable asking in a public forum, Vanessa and I's contact information is also on this slide, so you could send us an email after the presentation and we would be able to follow up with you individually as well. So we'll give you everyone some time to ask questions.
So Christy, we don't have any questions yet, but I am going to review just real quick the Job Accommodation Network, askjan.org. This website will provide a lot of useful tools to individuals who are looking for accommodation ideas for different barriers to employment. They also have links to helping individuals format letters requesting accommodations. And so that website, it proves to be very beneficial for a lot of customers that we're serving.
Thank you for that, Vanessa. So a question did come in the chat about making the PowerPoint presentation available for participants after the training. So can you share with us if that's possible?
Yeah, so the presentation will be available on YouTube after the training. However, the slideshow deck will not be.
Okay. So, but folks will be able to find this on YouTube, the recording, and they can review the slides with the recording.
Okay, so we have another question here that says, could you address when the appropriate time and manner is to discuss with employers and some resources to assist the customer in practicing this? Okay, so I'm going to gather that this is practicing self-advocacy in the workplace. So we do offer some soft skills training And we also offer some work-based learning opportunities or on-the-job evaluations where individuals will be practicing not just their hard skills, but also their soft skills. And for the soft skills trainings, there are opportunities for role playing, different situations, coming up with responses you're comfortable talking about or saying, to help advocate for yourself in the workplace. Christy, are you aware of any other opportunities in the community that you'd like to share?
Well, so we did talk about the various agencies that may be available through community mental health. So it really depends on what county you live in. However, there are vocational related programs that are available that could provide further training, like what Vanessa just discussed. So in Oakland County, there is organizations like New Horizons, Jewish Vocational Services, which recently merged with a different organization and is under a different name that is not coming to mind right now.
Gesher.
Gesher, yes, thank you, Gesher Human Services. So those are, some employment related agencies that operate in Oakland County. However, if you're tuning in from outside of Oakland County, then those opportunities would likely be with different organizations, but each county does have vocational related programs that could provide further skills training that could be beneficial.
Okay, and can we go back to the slide previous here where it has the list of resources? There we go. So we now have the job accommodation, askjan.org. There was a question for that. And then we have another question here in the chat. Does ARC provide assistance to parents who are interested in being a power of attorney or guardian? If so, what does the parent need to do to obtain this assistance?
So the ARC of Oakland County does. So if you are a resident of Oakland County, then you can contact the main number on this slide. You would contact 248-816-19. It's actually 1900. The 06 is our fax number, so don't call that number. And you can chat with Serena Kalaga, our office administrator, and she can get you set up for an appointment to discuss the differences between power of attorney and guardianship, and then help make a decision regarding which supported decision-making method you pursue. If you are tuning in from outside of Oakland County, then you would need to get in touch with the local chapter in your community for that assistance. And then I'm also seeing a question about benefit assistance, so Social Security benefit assistance. So we do provide assistance and resources to families who are considering the application process for Social Security. So yes, we provide the assistance. We don't provide benefits counseling like work incentive planning or CWIC assistance at this point. That is a service that may be forthcoming, but if for some reason you're in Oakland County and you're looking for that resource, you can still contact us and we can help point you in the right direction.
Okay, and then we also have another question about how do you apply online for a job? So if you saw a job on today that we reviewed and you're interested in it, where I found the job was on Indeed.com. That's INDEED.com. And if you would like some assistance for job search, you can contact your local Michigan Works office, or you can contact your local MRS office. And at the bottom of our slide, we have our website, which is www.michigan.gov/MRS. And on the website, we have an office locator. So you can type in the zip code where you live or your the name of the city, and you can find the MRS office that will serve you. If you are a BSBP, if you're looking for your local BSBP office, again, it's michigan.gov/BSBP. And that's Bureau for Services of Blind Persons. There's a question here. Can an individual utilize both MRS and Michigan Works services at the same time? Absolutely, you can.
I see another question for me. So Christy mentioned assistance with Social Security benefits. Specifically, does the ARC assist with submitting the application for or submitting appeals to obtain Social Security benefits? So we don't necessarily submit the documents for you, but we help you understand the process, where to go to submit documents. We can answer questions about the application that you need to submit, as well as the accompanying documentation that you'll be required to submit to Social Security. So we can assist in that capacity. And then we do provide assistance with appeals as well. So that is definitely something that we help our members through, is that appeal process. You do have to be a resident of Oakland County to use the ARC of Oakland services. So that's just an important thing to note. And if you're not, again, if you're not a resident of Oakland County, you just have to check that arcmichigan.org or the National ARC website in order to find the chapter that is nearest to you.
These are all really great questions, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, we'll keep the chat open for a little bit longer. And can we go ahead and move to the next slide real quick, just to put our information. Again, if you have a personal question that you'd like to ask Christy or me, you are more than welcome to contact us at our email addresses here on the screen. Okay. Well, I think that we will be ending early today. So thank you everyone for joining with us this morning on our first Friday event. And hopefully we'll see you soon at one of our locations.
Thanks for the opportunity to present with you, Vanessa. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, Christy. It was a pleasure. Bye.